the 125-pounders got there. Tomasello and Megadullis.
You take a look at the top three guys in the country here with Gilman, Megadullis, an overtime match where Megadullis was able to get a takedown in OT. Tomasello on the top half of the bracket looking strong.
And the wrestlers, Tomasello and Megadullis, they're not strangers. They wrestled in the dual meet, Tomasello winning. He's the NCAA champion last year as a freshman. Megadullis, three-time All-American, twice runner-up, but he's never won the Big Ten championship or the NCAA championship. This is his opportunity. What a match. Megadullis, of course, getting here by beating Gilman in the semifinals in the overtime, and here they go. 3-1 the last time they met. Tomasello from Ohio State winning in the sold-out Bryce Jordan dual meet with Ohio State earlier this winter.
And I tell you what, neither athlete was able to get to a leg until late, and that was Megadullis. He's able to get to the left leg of, immediately a stall call here on the push-out situation. There's a section of Penn State people here that probably didn't enjoy that call, but he just pushed him straight out, and Megadullis did not circle enough, but tough call.
You'll hear other whistles going on because these are three matches. Matches. You just heard Iowa obviously rooting for Gilman, who's going for third place. Thomas Gilman going for third place. Also the fifth place match is going on. Three-ring circus here at the sold-out Carver Hawkeye for the Big Ten championships.
Each of the placement matches are worth 1 team point, and of course you can receive the bonus points as well here with major decisions, tech falls and falls.
We'll keep you up with the team score. That real tight race for second place right now. Penn State holding advantage with all the finalists. All they really need to do is win one to seal the deal mathematically.
I tell you what, that footwork was excellent there by Tomasello, and he gets around probably 95 to 99% of the wrestlers that he ever goes against. But Megadullis is a different animal when it comes to that front headlock position, and now we're going to get a little blood timeout. But
a look at Megadullis there, the first of 6 finalists for Penn State. There's Cale Sanderson on the right, the head coach in his 7th year, 4 NCAA titles as a coach and 4 Big Ten championships. Of course, the history of Cale Sanderson, undefeated, 159-0 as a wrestler at Iowa State, and now the accolades for the job he has done at Penn State. And Jay Jaggers on the right there, a 2-time NCAA champion for Ohio State, Tom Ryan's top assistant, looking on as the blood is being attended to.
Yeah, you mentioned that we talked about earlier about that front headlock situation that both athletes were in, and there was a nice little scramble around there. But Megadullis has been able to go ahead and be extremely competitive in that front headlock position. Most guys get spun around, but it seems to be an advantage position for him, and that's how he scores a lot of points.
Nathan Tomasello, the undefeated, 21-0 NCAA champion, got 39 wins in a row. He's the returning Big Ten champion and NCAA champion.
Tomasello really working with some heavy hands this time. So I'm working with a couple of underhooks. He's working that hard with that left underhook and coming in forward here with the right underhook. Now in that front headlock position. And Megadullis spends a lot of time in this area. It's a strength position for him. Ends up tying up elbows. Keeps his feet extremely active. He's down here, and you can see Tomasello stuffing his head. But Megadullis is just so strong in that position. He just does not get spun around on. It's amazing.
Nico Megadullis is a 3-time Pennsylvania State champion. As we said, he's also a 3-time All-American, looking to win his first Big Ten championship. 2 years ago, before his redshirt year, he lost to Jesse Delgado from Illinois in the finals of the Big Tens.
Yeah, you're looking for adjustments or any key adjustments. I don't see anything. These guys are so athletic, so fundamentally sound. They move their feet well. There's a shot attempt by Megadullis. Tomasello had control of the wrist.
Ohio State, 3 finalists. Shane talked about Kyle Snyder, the world champion and now heavyweight after 197 last year for the NCAAs. He was a runner-up and looking for his first Big Ten championship. So great matches all the way up. Nathan Tomasello, again, there is no injury timeout for blood. They can take care of it as long as they need to. And here's your Carver Hawkeye Arena, sold out, 3-ring circus. There's Gilman going for 3rd place.
Back in on a shot. He leads 5-2 in this match against Lambert, so this is an important bout for 3rd place. A nice little drop there by Lambert, hooking the leg, and he's got potentially, I've seen called 2, but it doesn't look like he has quite enough control. Referee.
Of course, Lambert, part of the Nebraska contingency that is having a very good tournament.
They really are. You know, they're going to go ahead and qualify 10 guys. They've earned those spots through their wrestling. Been very solid and sound. And tough in the top position and been able to get a lot of falls out there. Gilman in on another shot. Nice finish.
So now 7-2 in favor of Thomas Gilman for Iowa. Of course, Gilman got beat in overtime by Megadullis in the semis, has come back strong with a pin and now leading 7-2, going for 3rd place.
And you've got to be thinking a major decision if you're Gilman here. Extend that lead, that would be an extra point.
So we're back at the championship action, and we began the 2nd period with Megadullis getting the quick escape.
Oh, wow. Great work there by Tomasello. He's able to know it didn't get all the way around, but he elevates that bottom leg. What a job by Megadullis, basically staying square. That's competing. Unbelievable. Look at the firepower coming back by Tomasello. I mean, that was just a barrage that Megadullis was able to hang in there. Amazing flexibility, and he did the same thing in the match with Gilman in the semis. Great
action by both wrestlers here at 125, the championships. A little more blood. They're going to have to...
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at it. Actually, Jay Jaggers is going to go ahead and challenge the situation and see if there actually was a takedown. I think
in the middle of that scramble, what you're talking about, Jim, is it looked like they could have called 2 when he had the leg in the head, but...
but Megadullis had his right arm all the way across the left leg. Yeah, and so we're going to take a look at the replay here, see if we've got it. The great job by him. So that he cuts back the other direction, but watch his right hand come across. See right there, that right hand came across. I don't necessarily think about, well, you know, he has a hold of the leg. I don't see it being overturned.
No,
but
I don't see
knows?
it being overturned. I see it maybe perhaps being able to be called for just a split second. Great action by both wrestlers. You talked about Megadullis' opportunity to square up.
That's like running 100 yards and catching a pop fly with your right hand out there and diving. And I mean, that right hand out there was just all that kept Tomasello from scoring. Impressed with the technique he used, but he cut back on that. If we could, I don't think we're going to get a call. Yeah, no points.
No points. It's not to overturn. There were no points called, so that's the way it'll stand. 1-0 now.
Talk about adjustments, though. Tomasello's made some key adjustments on that front headlock position, stuffing and moving to his right. Stuffing the head and moving to the right.
Tomasello in Ohio State, the red ankle band, the NCAA champion last year as a freshman. He was a 4-time Ohio State champion from Cayuga Valley Christian Academy and won 3 USA Wrestling Fargo freestyle titles.
And when Megadullis was able to get to a leg in that last match, it was to Tomasello's left leg. You saw where he trying to drop in on a high or low shot right after the whistle blew. Both these guys working pretty hard. A bonus point offered up to Thomas Gilman there, so Iowa will extend their lead over Nebraska here to 118 to 115.
Iowa gets a win of 125. Thomas Gilman is 3rd. As Jim said, extra points for Iowa in that very close race for 2nd place. Penn State out in front by over 20 points in their bid to become the Big Ten champions for the 5th time in 6 years.
You notice how I think Megadullis' pace has improved a little bit on the feet. Tomasello's going to take the down position.
Both these guys got, you know, they've got tanks on their back. They both get after it, but Megadullis always hustles back to the center.
He does, and then
Red set.
neither guy was able to get any riding time on the other in the last match. So offer up a caution to Tomasello on the false start.
That's the first caution. You get 2 before you are penalized. So the first of 2 freebies for jumping the gun. Tomasello jumped the gun from underneath.
Looks like Megadullis jumped at that time, but quick escape there by Tomasello. This looks like it maybe it's going to end in regulation. It's going to be settled on the feet.
1-to-1, no riding time at all. Very familiar from their first time they met this year.
Look at that. Tim, look at that chin of Nico Megadullis when he gets underneath there. He doesn't even see his opponent. It's like he's got eyes on the top of his head. His chin is on his sternum. He wrestles better in that position than anybody in the country. Tomasello, who has excellent footwork, really tries to get the angle on, has not been able to close out and get that angle to the right side. See how he's trying to move to the right, and now Megadullis cuts him off just like a boxer would in the ring.
Early on in the match, Tomasello was able to get a warning by pushing, by making Megadullis go out. Megadullis keeping it to center now very well.
That's what Megadullis did a good job in the semifinals. It's just that, you know, he dropped to his knees and then was able to go ahead and anticipate which direction Gulibon was going.
We knew this was going to be really close. No margin for error here. Very, very close between these two. Yeah. The first time it was 3-to-1. It was determined on the feet at the end of the match. It's 1-to-1, and we've got 40 seconds left in regulation.
Some sort of misdirection is what's going to work. Just a straight-on shot will not work at this level against this caliber of opponent.
And they say continue wrestling. There is no call there. The official says keep wrestling. That's Angel Rivera, the head official.
Good anticipation by both wrestlers. Again, Tomasello likes to hit that high crotch to the leg that does not have a knee pad on it. Hits a single with his head to the inside to the leg that has the knee pad.
Well, it still could be decided on their feet, but they're going to go to sudden victory right now. A minute on the clock.
No surprise.
It's 1-to-1, and if there's any score in this first period in overtime, the sudden victory, it'll end the match. We're in overtime, the first match of the Big Ten Championships here at the University of Iowa and Carver Hawkeye, and it's overtime between Megadullis and Tomasello. Tomasello from Ohio State, the NCAA champion, trying to finish it up and get his second Big Ten championship.
He got it right there.
And he gets it right there on the edge. Two-time Big Ten champion Nathan Tomasello. That's his mom, Linda. Sue, I mean.
Well, it's a head post situation there where Megadullis, he's going to hear from Cody Sanderson that we're not going to contest that. There was a takedown. He lost his way there, head down, rolled through. Tomasello was able to collect him.
And Tomasello's the Big Ten champion for the second year. Thanks, Shane, and 133, we're ready for it. Look at the brackets.
Well, number 1 seed, Zane Richards gets all the way to the finals here, but look at that match here between Taylor and Clark here. Clark, the NCAA runner-up. Ryan Taylor was a handful in this weight class here, beating Conaway, the 3 seed, and also giving Clark a really good go at 10-7.
Here we go, 133 pounds. The 5th time Richards and Clark have met. Cory Clark out of Pleasant Hill, Southeast Polk. His high school coach, Jason Christensen, a great program where Cory was a 4-time state champion. And Zane Richards out of Carbondale, Illinois, looking to win his first Big Ten championship. He's a perfect 23-0 coming in to this match. Zane Richards, Cory Clark, they're 2-2 in their 4 matchups. The last one going to Zane Richards in overtime in the dual meet, 6-5.
You know, both these guys are scorers, and they like to put up points in their matches, and they're always looking for their offense. Both tough in the top position and are able to go ahead and turn their opponents. So look for back points opportunities almost immediately after takedowns. Clark really likes to work the 2-on-1, but he's getting a taste of his own medicine here with Zane Richards basically pulling that 2-on-1 down to the mat.
And as tough as these two guys are, it's both of them first time to the finals in the Big Tens. Of course, Clark was a runner-up NCAAs last year, but he was third place last year in the Big Tens, fourth at 2014.
Well, it speaks to what we're likely to see in a week and a half from now, is that some change in the order and the rankings. Difficult tournament to seed as the NCAAs, but a lot of head-to-head matches that could get reversed in the NCAAs.
Richards, the junior from Illinois, was fifth in the Big Tens last year and the year before. One of 3 Illini in the finals: Zane Richards, Aymar, Isaiah Martinez, and Brunson at 174. I was really impressed on Clark and Taylor match. As good as Taylor looked, I really thought Clark answered the bell every time with his urgency of his own. He's just a very skilled wrestler.
Well, you know, Ryan Taylor is wrestling for third in this weight class against Jordan Conaway. You know, he was last year's #2 seed in the NCAA tournament and got hurt in the Big Tens, and then, you know, kind of working himself back. We saw him on the Big Ten Network with the Iowa-Wisconsin meet, and he wrestled Clark. It was a much different match this time around here. A lot of scoring, but what you had to be impressed with Clark was that takedown with 30 seconds left here, where he was about 6 inches totally extended off the ground, caught Taylor on his heels, and then with Richards for his journey here, a little bit more workmanlike. I guess what's impressed me is that he's got that tournament wrestling style here where he's fundamental and basic and can go ahead and close out periods in the top position. Really good rider, can get out quickly.
Talked about him being a perfect 23-0 coming into this tournament. Cory Clark has won 10 straight, has not lost since these two met in the dual meet, where Richards beat Clark in overtime.
Here's the 2-on-1 that Clark likes to work. And Richards doesn't waste any time, just goes ahead and shoots in on the leg.
Short time, 10 seconds left. Less time ticking away in the first period. And no score between these two in the first period at 133 pounds. It's 0-0. Cory Clark from Iowa will get his choice, and he'll go down to begin the second period. Good look at Mark Perry on the left, Jeremy Hunter on the right. Mark Perry, a 2-time NCAA champion here at Iowa. Very familiar with this arena. Jeremy Hunter, an NCAA champion for Penn State. And both of them top assistants to Jim Heffernan in his 7th year as the head coach at Illinois.
Boy, really important, Tim. Championship wrestling here. Those scoreless matches, if you can get out quickly, it just gives you another option, you know, getting riding time in a close match. So Clark is out with 11 seconds riding time for Richards. Looking for what Richards will do with this. You see him working to go ahead. Now he went misdirection here. He's been trying to attack the back leg of Clark. This time he hit the right leg, the lead leg, the one with the knee pad on it. And Clark gets a lot of mileage off of working the 2-on-1. Now he comes back to the underhook at the other side. Now head pressure by Richards. You know, if you ever wonder what the difference is, how do you get to the finals? Look at these guys, the way their feet move. Short, choppy steps. Nobody plants for more than a quarter of a second.
No, it's feet moving all the time. And 45 seconds left in the second period. It was a quick escape for Cory Clark.
There's
starting underneath.
Good high crotch shot there. Tapped the head, the left arm, and it came back. You know, sometimes you get nothing but a shoestring there, but it's enough to finish the technique. But good reaction by Clark.
Clark, a 2-time NCAA All-American. He was a runner-up last year to Oklahoma's Cody Brewer, and he was 5th as a freshman at 125.
I'll tell you,
9 seconds in the period.
You know, Zane Richards, stays in this match. He doesn't get pushed around. He rarely goes off the mat in his matches.
That's the end of the second period, and Richards will get his opportunity to go down at 125. Here's your 3 through 8 right here. Gilman all the way down to McCabe. So this is your placing at 125 pounds. Gilman, Lambert, Oliver, Yutzi, Jimenez, and McCabe. All of them qualify for the NCAA, and a 9th one as well in this weight class. That's how tough.
Oh, wow.
And there's a tough escape for Richards to knot it up 1-1. 1:45 left in regulation.
Good hand fighting, good sit out there, back pressure into his opponent. Got good hip separation here, turned quickly and got the escape. So 1 second of advantage time, really no factor. Now Clark working on that 2-on-1. Look at that chain wrestling there, 2-on-1. Richards comes back with a single. Clark with the counter shot. Now back to hanging on each other's heads.
No fingers, guys. Stay off the fingers.
So difficult to tire out these guys. Good straight shot there by Clark. Countered well there by Richards.
Richards in on the leg, but the head's still out the outside.
He's got the right
cut across.
Yeah, he's got the right hand across Tim, and then Clark was able to go ahead and lock in the crotch. Now he's extending Richards here. Richards trying to move up with his knees. Now he's probably going to try to come out the back door, but
Clark, these guys fighting to get their hips underneath them.
Flattens out a little bit. Clark has the advantage here because his chest up, hips down. Now he bends at the waist a little bit, and it gives Richards an opportunity to come out the back door. Oh.
Stalemate.
I don't know if I call that.
Man, there was no stoppage in the action there.
I don't know who had the advantage there.
No, I know exactly. Yeah. That's why I wouldn't have called it either, Jim. Both wrestlers were not giving up their position, both doing a great job of coming back with their hips underneath them. Now they're back to their feet. 25 seconds left. It's 1-1.
And you got to be careful with Richards. You can't push too much because you saw that snap down that he was able to do. Snap down and go behind. See, if Clark is just trying to bail out on the snap down, bring his rear end back and see if anything develops there. But
short time, and it looks like there'll be no takedown, and we'll go to sudden victory. Looks like Ryan Taylor got a win, 3rd place for Wisconsin over Jordan Conaway. Here we go, sudden victory, second sudden victory in as many matches. Richards, the #1 seed, versus Clark, the #2 seed.
And who's going to be able to snap the other down and get more than just one leg on a shot? Both these guys going hard ear to ear. They both look very fresh. I mean, they've weathered 7 minutes of hard wrestling, and then now they both look good out there. They're moving well.
Well, you talked about it early. They've got to be ready to go 9 or 10 minutes to win a championship.
And this is a position here where Clark's got the knee tap right there.
18 seconds left in the sudden victory before they go to 2 30-second periods into tiebreaker. If there's no score here, we'll go to 2 periods, 30 seconds each. And that's where we're at.
They're going to call hand clasp.
No warning, really, just a talk to by the official to not interlock the fingers. There's the end of the sudden victory. Clark gets the choice. He's going to go down first. 30 seconds, just like a bull ride right here.
Well, Tim, you identify tendencies and situations where you can control a guy for 30 seconds in this position when you're scouting out. Guys, you practice on this. Beautiful stand-up and hand control there by Clark. Didn't look like Richards was really prepared for that situation as well as he needed to be. But, you know, he's apt to get out as well fairly quickly, so these two athletes may settle this on the feet. Boy, Clark is really putting a lot of pressure on the head. See the right hand on the chin of Richards. The referee's going to call, well, that's the end of the period, but end of the 30 seconds.
Going to the second tiebreaker period of 30 seconds. Now Richards starts underneath. He'll get his opportunity to tie it up or go ahead. It's like a match.
Once Richards gets to his rear end on that set out there, he's pretty dangerous as far as getting out quickly. But he comes up without, just came to his feet and allows an easy mat return.
And Clark getting him flattened out there.
You gotta be careful. Stay low, 10 seconds left. Richards in a position to be able to go ahead and quickly explode, but does he have it? Clark will pop his hips in here if he can. The big throw, and he gets him.
Overtime win for Cory Clark. Mark Perry is challenging. Mark Perry, associate head coach, is challenging. They're going to their corners. There's a coach's challenge.
And it's going to challenge the fact that there was locked hands, okay? I don't think I saw it, but I didn't have the angle that Mark Perry did. We're across the way.
Well, if he's in control, doesn't matter whether he's standing up or on his knees, he can't lock his hands.
Okay, we'll take a look at it. That's what the call is. Okay, the hands are separated. He's on his feet. Okay, and now he's going to go ahead. When he takes him to his back, what does he call right there? Is that locked hands? Well, he's on his back.
He's on his back.
Yeah. Right here, takes him back. And and Perry's over there protesting. He's anticipating a locked hands call. So I mean, he's calling for the protest before they went to the mat.
If it is a locked hands, it would be a technical violation in 1. There's Mark Perry, the associate head coach for Illinois.
But you see how he was up over there at the head table before the two athletes went to the mat in the last 5 seconds. So he was protesting something different.
That as they were coming up, and I think he was protesting that before he got to his feet, the hands were locked.
But you saw where the grip was split.
Right. Yeah.
There's your answer.
Big Ten champion for the first time, Cory Clark from Iowa. The Hawkeyes come to their feet in Carver Hawkeye Arena. They get their first champion, Cory Clark, the junior, the Big Ten champ.
Zane Richards is real difficult to keep down, and for that last 30 seconds, Clark just battled. Did a nice job of keeping control.
Big ride by Cory Clark in overtime in a tiebreaker. Gets him a Big Ten championship over Zane Richards.
Take a look how they got here. Jimmy Gulibon, the number 8 seed, he was able to go ahead and beat, in this match, he was able to go ahead and beat Micah Jordan, the number 1 seed. And also in the bottom part of the bracket, number 3 ranked Anthony Ashnault from Rutgers, 8-4 winner over Danny Sabatello, who had a big upset over Tommy Thorne in the quarterfinals.
And that's why Jimmy Gulibon, the number 8 seed, who had the upset over the undefeated Micah Jordan, is our today's Coyote Logistics No Excuses Impact Wrestler. There's Anthony Ashnault and Jimmy Gulibon, our No Excuses Coyote Logistics No Excuses Impact Wrestler. Jimmy Gulibon, number 8 seed, big win in the quarters, and then follows it up with the win in the semis. Here he is in the finals, 5th place last year in the NCAAs at 133, but he's had his difficulties. Had a 4-match losing streak coming into the Big Ten tournament. Was only 10-8 coming into the tournament. Anthony Ashnault, Rutgers' first ever freshman All-American. And Rutgers, Jim, boy, is Coach Scott Dale, doing a good job.
Well, he really is. I mean, the state of New Jersey's got to be very proud of what this Rutgers program is able to do in this tournament in Iowa City. I don't think a lot of people thought in the beginning that this team would be some team that puts up 100 points. So both these teams, or both these athletes in this match right here, part of the fabric of the story. Of course, Gulibon with Penn State, their great lead that they have when you're number 8 seed to end up being in the finals. You're dancing in the streets, but Ashnault has really been part of a solid performance here by the men from New Jersey.
Rutgers also did a great job this year at the RAC, their facilities that they wrestle in. They did great crowds, and it's just really doing a lot for Eastern wrestling there, the eastern side of the Big Tens.
You know, these guys go home in a week and a half. And the Nationals are just right across the river, so to speak, and they've got, you know, they're going to be back in their time zone. Both these teams will be, and can't wait to be a part of that environment at the NCAA's at the Madison Square Garden.
That's March 17th and 19th. The NCAA's at Madison Square Gardens, New York City.
And Ashnault, you know, he's a winner, 4-time state champion. Both these guys are 4-time state champions, and they just have those, you know, winning styles. Maybe Gulibon a little bit more varied, but Ashnault really knows what he wants to do. He doesn't vary off of that stance there. He's going to keep his left leg forward most of the time. He's going to shoot that single leg. Very tough in the top position, and he can take you to your back when you try to ride him.
Gulibon got to the finals by getting revenge for 2 losses earlier this year. Both his wins there against Micah Jordan, and then in the semifinals against Gaza from Michigan State. Both those guys defeated Gulibon earlier in the year. Gulibon trying for his first Big Ten championship. Second of 6 Penn State finalists. We talk about Rutgers, and they're in 5th place. They've scored over 100 points, and yet this is their only finalist, but they have come in with so many placers, taking a lot to the NCAA, so that's even cooler, Jim, as you know, you're crossing over the river with you know, most of your team.
Well, there's nothing better than having a packed wrestling room, you know, in preparation for the biggest show that you have all year, and you have all that many guys qualifying for the tournament. They've, you know, like they've deserved their placing, and you know, they've been tough. I mean, I commend, you know, Scott Goodale, Donnie Pritzloff, assistant coach there. They've really had a great attitude, and they've been in these matches physically. They're tough in the top position. They're skilled, and I think they have the makings in that room of really advancing and bringing these wrestlers on.
There you talk about 2 top assistants, Donnie Pritzloff, associate head coach for Rutgers, 2-time NCAA champion at Wisconsin, and Cody Sanderson, twice runner-up for the Iowa State Cyclones, now his brother's associate head coach at Penn State.
You know, Gulibon, nice jump there on the start. And then Ashnault, he's got just a really strong grip, and so when you keep your elbows out like Gulibon is trying to do right now, and you give all that opportunity for Ashnault to be able to control those wrists, and he is superior at being able to roll and tilt, that trapped arm tilt right there, big tight waist. See how he baits that, be able to capture the cross wrist and be able to stay with Gulibon. Now he immediately goes to rams it down there. He's back there with that cross wrist again. Now he's opportunity to load him up.
That was a great job by Ashnault.
Yeah,
Driving back into the hips and now scoring with the tilt. Ashnault with the grip you were talking about, Jim.
Yeah, just the way, you know, the competition inside the competition was that who's going to be able to free those wrists, and Gulibon just stayed elbows out too long, and Ashnault was able to hold on to that. When he does do that, he just rolls guys over. And this is where probably the transition at this weight.
4-point near fall. Got 4 counts, got the 4 points. The near falls are either 2 or 4, depending on the count. And so Ashnault, who came into this match 27-2, his only losses have come to Kevin Jack from North Carolina State and Tommy Thorne from Minnesota.
And both those guys are guys that put up a lot of scrambles, and you know, they're skilled in all areas, where Ashnault has just got one of those tournament styles. He finishes periods in the top position. Tough to score on. He can attack when he needs to.
Cover legal.
Important part of the match for Gulibon.
Go to it.
4-0 lead with the 4-point near fall. Ashnault from the top position.
Baited out again, but notice how he follows with good footwork. He's looking for that wrist. He's got it with the arm trapped. Now he comes back. He's got him loaded up. One more time. Just excellent work there by Anthony Ashnault.
Tremendous control there. Never let Gulibon get hip separation. Was able to take Gulibon to his back again for a 2-point near fall.
And you saw where Gulibon was able to get to his feet, but he kept his wrist close to his waist. He was not able to fire back into him with his shoulders and get the hips away, and it made the difference. And I think a lot of that's just the anticipation of Ashnault.
Yeah, and Ashnault, speaking of, that's a great term, fire back. Ashnault's been able to fire into Gulibon this entire match, not giving Gulibon any opportunity to get that separation away. So, Gulibon chooses neutral to begin the third period. Not going to go underneath again.
Their front headlock position. And, you know, this is a stage in the match right now. You've got a 6-0 lead, and you're into the third period. You got the riding time and everything, and you just don't want to. You just want to close it out strong. You've been dominant the whole match, and I think this is where you can see Donnie Pritzloff is on his feet. He understands this is a critical part of the match. It's a critical part of setting the tempo for your nationals.
Anthony Ashnault leading the way for Rutgers here in the finals, looking to become a Big Ten champion for Rutgers. And there's just been a look in their eye, Jim. There has been no fear from all the wrestlers from top to bottom.
They're tough guys. You know, they understand what they're here for.
Break.
Make it a battle.
Fingers. Stalemate. First one, guys. Stay out of that set.
Here's your 133-pound order of finish. Cory Clark, of course, winning in overtime in Richards. And then 3 through 8, Taylor, Conaway, Montoya, Giraldo, DeJulius, Alexander, and Malone. There's your top 9 at 133, and they all qualify for the NCAA championships. 9 at 133.
Look at that back arch there by Ashnault, being able to get the legs back. Now he's got the advantage position with Gulibon.
Wrestle here. Center in.
Staying in the mat, inside the circle, circling back in when he can. Again, you've been a dominant wrestler in one position. You know, one takedown really puts the icing on a Big Ten championship.
Which would be Rutgers' first championship, I believe. And for individual, nice job. Look at the ankle there. Drive through for 2.
Yeah, that, you tell you what, look, that's a good job by the corner at a critical time in this bout. You know, making sure that Anthony Ashnault was going to finish this match in prime fashion.
And he does. Congratulations to Anthony Ashnault. Last year, he was the first freshman to be an All-American. He gives Scott Goodale, Donnie Pritzloff, and the coaching staff a Big Ten championship at 141 pounds.
And Jimmy Gulibon was probably one of the major reasons why Penn State has a 14-point lead.
So there's your Rutgers Big Ten champion at 141, Anthony Ashnault, 149, and how they got here, Rutherford and Sorensen.
Well, Zane Rutherford's been dominant in his matches all the way through the top side of the bracket. Brandon Sorensen, much the same here. Tough match with Jake Soufflon from Nebraska here, but it's 1-2 just like we expected.
Both these wrestlers, they're undefeated. They have not met this year, and they just look excited to be out there, Jim.
You know, you look at each other, you look at the films, all right, and finally it's just go time in a big environment like this. Zane Rutherford at that 28-0 mark. He's been the more dominant one as far as the scoring goes, but Brandon Sorensen is difficult to score on, okay? He can stay in that match in the first 3 minutes, so I think that this, you know, first 3 minutes of the bout is really huge. The activity that Rutherford brings to the table here early on is, I mean, he's really gone up a, you know, he's made a lot out of his redshirt year. He's been more of an attacking style. Who could forget the match that he had at Big Ten Network as a freshman at State College when he was able to go ahead, beat the returning and then eventual 4-time NCAA champion Logan Stieber. Really put him on the map there, but he's followed up, I think, with a lot of improvement.
You're listening to Jim Gibbons. I'm Tim Johnson. We're at the University of Iowa Carver Hawkeye Arena for the Big Ten Championships. 149 pounds. We started at 125, worked our way up 33 and 141. This is the 4th match of the 10-match championships.
And Sorensen is a guy that just stays in matches and doesn't really add to the lead once he gets there. He hasn't been the, you know, the bonus point guy that maybe he could be, but he's deceptive and he can get a shot off, and when he does, he's a 95% finish type guy. He doesn't waste much time, much energy. We've seen that here in some of the big matches. Remember that Oklahoma State match was easily able to get into Colica. Wow.
You mentioned dominant, and Zane Rutherford, he is one of the most dominant wrestlers in the nation. Number 3 ranked in the most dominant category in NCAA award standings. Out of his 28 wins, 25 have been by pin, technical fall, or major decision.
Active, heavy hands, all right? A lot of motion, a lot of in and out, dropping, creativity. Doesn't like the position that he's in. He doesn't settle for it, you know? There's a good shot right there, but it was basically to set something else up.
You're looking at the first meeting between 2 undefeated wrestlers.
You know, you talk to the teammates of Brandon Sorensen and others. They consider him up there with Brent Metcalf. Oh boy, what just a drop-in shot right there. Look at that finish there. This is trouble for Sorensen, particularly with 40 seconds left in the first.
Boy, that was a claw. Rutherford just grabbed the back of the knee and pulled it in.
Tim, did you see the shot that he took to the right-hand side earlier in the bout? I said he's trying to, that's a misdirection type of setup, all right? Take a look at this. He gave the feel like he was going right, and then he just dropped down, right? Peeled off right there. It's
kept that head in the chest.
But not a lot of guys. I mean, Sorensen is so good. I was just trying to make that point with his head-hands defense and that, and Rutherford just made it look easy.
Here's how the 141-pounders finished, the top 8. At 141,
look at the
Ashnault, Gulibon, Jordan, Thorne, Sabatello, Gassa, Abbott, and Fisher.
Yeah, and then Micah Jordan with the fall, so that gave Ohio State 2 more team points, so it's 122 to 121. The score between Iowa with the lead over Ohio State for second.
The top 7 there in those 8 qualified automatically for the NCAAs.
Good work there by Sorensen coming up. And this is the part of championship wrestling. It's not just getting the takedown, it's finishing in the top position to end the periods. You know, a lot of instruction going on. Cody Sanderson. You know, you want to keep your elbows in. See how his right elbow was tucked in right there? He understood that he was going to try to control the waist, do it with footwork. Sorensen, so tough coming in. He's keeping his elbows in and his wrist out. Good mat return by Rutherford. Good old spiral ride right there. Sorensen has probably one more explosive move coming out of this. See if he feels it. Nope. That was great work on the top position and a great adjustment. I looked over at the corner. I saw Cody Sanderson keeping his right elbow in. And if you see the exaggeration that Rutherford had on that start, it was slice in with that right arm to control the hips.
A lot going on here. 3-ring circus at the University of Iowa's Carver Arena. On the right, they're going for 3rd place. On the left, they're going for 5th place. And we're zooming in on the championship match right here at 149. 2 undefeated wrestlers, Sorensen and Rutherford. And Rutherford gets that quick escape to match his takedown 3-0 lead early into the second period for Zane Rutherford, the redshirt sophomore. He was second as a true freshman 2 years ago to Logan Stieber, redshirted last year, and has come on with a vengeance this year. Both wrestlers having great years. Sorensen, a 4-time Iowa State champion out of Denver High School, and Zane Rutherford is a 3-time state champion out of Pennsylvania. Homegrown young men wrestling for their state teams.
Yeah. So far, Sorensen hasn't got anything close to it. Looks like an opening. And you see that in-out motion, the control. You know, and even when he got his head stuffed in that situation, Rutherford was able to keep his feet active and circle back in. Again, works the head, drops his level, creates an angle right there. Oh, beautiful shot. Great job by Sorensen getting his legs back. That was, most guys go down with that one.
It was a great job of hips and warding off that shot by Sorensen. Great defense by Brandon Sorensen.
He exploded right when Rutherford was going to make the switch.
30 seconds left in the second period. Sorensen, as you said, trying to find that opening, not getting it. Rutherford getting 1 shot for the 2 points in the first. That second shot that just happened, Sorensen was successful in warding him off.
Yeah, critical for Sorensen to stay in this match. You're looking for your offense, but if you can't get it, you want to keep the pace up. Certainly don't want to give up any points. That was a direct shot.
So the end of the second period, Sorensen will get his opportunity going underneath. Good look at.
Take a look at that defense there by Sorensen. Here's the shot, right? Good
the
work
kick
there.
out there.
And see how the chest was up and he dropped the hips onto the mat, shoelaces flat. Now Rutherford forcing that leg in right there. Now he's got the head and arm locked up. This will be trouble.
You talk about, you know, putting yourself in the saddle sometimes. And
well, getting out of legs is a like, you know, unsaddling a horse, okay? The legs are the stirrup, all right? And what Sorensen has to do is push the stirrups away to be able to unleash the saddle. So, you know, if you pull that ankle into you, you're basically cinching up the saddle. And you don't want to do that because a guy like Rutherford already has strong legs. He's going to put the pressure on you, but he's really coming down hard in that referee's position. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a caution against him, but good job of following. Leg comes in. The left-hand pocket between the elbow and the knee was left wide open there, and Rutherford puts the leg in. This is like at least 20, 30 seconds of riding time. He gets a leg in. And we mentioned before, Tim, when we watched Zane Rutherford, what makes him so dominant is that he really makes the guy work. You know, some guys make you work on the feet, others make you work, you know, trying to ride him. But he makes you work in every position. It's a chore to follow him riding, and it's certainly a chore just to get back to your base once he gets a leg in. And
Sorensen receives a warning from the official for stalling. That's the first warning. There's no points, but Rutherford with 45 seconds left. Very dominating fashion so far. A takedown in the first period, an escape in the second, and a ride in the third. So far, very dominant. Able to take away the base from Sorensen.
Yeah, what Sorensen is doing well right now is he's keeping his wrist free, but now he's just coming over the top. Rutherford is and really making Sorensen carry a lot of it. See how he rams that right elbow forward.
Rutherford remaining heavy. Doing a great job of riding and keeping the pressure on Sorensen, and is going to get riding time. He's going to get an extra point as the time runs out. Zane Rutherford's going to get his first Big Ten championship as a sophomore. And you're looking at the champ. The redshirt sophomore from Penn State, Zane Rutherford, goes to 29-0, and as you talked, Jim, he's advancing into the NCAAs with a lot of momentum.
He is. He's a Hodge Trophy candidate, the way he's wrestling. All season has been dominant, very solid.
There's your champion, Zane Rutherford. And here's the bracket on how Nolf and Martinez come at each other for the second time.
Well, we're used to seeing dominating performances by both these guys, and certainly been the case with Jason Nolf. But look at the bottom part of that bracket. Isaiah Martinez, 14-11, 5-4. That was the last 30-second takedown here in the semifinals to get to the finals. So one guy's clearly on a roll. Isaiah Martinez, not so much.
Here we go. Carver Hawkeye Arena sold out. The Perler feature match is brought to you by PerlerWrestling.com for camps and much more. This is today's feature match, brought to you by Perler Wrestling. Jason Nolf, Isaiah Martinez, they met in the dual meet in January. Martinez had a 61-match winning streak, and Nolf not only ended it, he ended it with a fall in front of the home crowd. This is the first time they've met since. Neither has lost since. Nolf, undefeated, coming in 29-0. He's a redshirt freshman. Kind of having the year that Isaiah had as a redshirt freshman last year for Illinois.
Exactly, Tim, and all that, you know, blah, blah, blah I mentioned about the bracket means nothing here when these two guys hit the mat. It's just about adjustments, and, you know, both these coaching staffs, you know, are going to make adjustments. They do watch film intensely, and they've got a plan here for this situation, and so they've been all about this match. They've anticipated getting here, and we'll see what type of, you know, the thing I was most curious about, what would be the Illinois adjustment? Do you go back, because in that first match, Isaiah Martinez came out like a bull in a china shop. He was just trying to do everything, and by the time the first period was over with, It looked like he did about 6 sets of cleans, and he had that kind of faraway look.
Well, already it's different approach.
Yeah, and that's been
Measured.
the adjustment. Yeah,
I would say it's a measured approach. How dominant is Jason Nolf? He's the #1. He sits #1 in most dominant category for NCAA awards. If that sounds familiar, we just got done talking about Zane Rutherford, who's #3, and we're not done with how Penn State, they've got 4 wrestlers in the top 7 of the most dominant in that NCAA category.
Well, Nolf is a guy that can attack both sides of the body, and he's clearly, you know, what you used to see out of seeing out of Martinez is that driving with that deep underhook with the left arm. And Nolf has cut it off pretty well. Now he's in on a shot just as deep as he could be.
I was going to say, that's as in as you can get.
Yeah. He's got the grip locked properly right there. We'll see if he tries to go ahead and use his power right now. This is the...
Nice job of hipping out by Martinez, and he had to re-grip, and it wasn't as good as his initial grip. Nolf's wasn't. 0-0.
Well, he put the anvil in his rear end right there and just dropped his hips a little bit, made it difficult for Nolf. So it's, you know, things are not as easy as they were before. I mean, last time it was pretty easy because Isaiah was bull rushing, and all Nolf had to do was lower his level and drop down, and he was attacking below the knee. So far, no attacks below Isaiah Martinez's knees.
Nolf, out of his 29 victories, 27 have been larger than a regular decision. Pins, technical falls, or major decisions. Again, Nolf in, trying to finish off. Hip out by Aymar.
Yeah. He's got a seatbelt position
Watch
set up right there.
Watch your fingers, let it go.
Again, it's still to Nolf's advantage to keep the pace of this match high, I believe. See a little whip arm, you know, limp arm, short time.
And it's the end of the first period. It's 0-0.
Good action, gentlemen, good action. Top
You know, this is a situation for Aymar. He's got a crowd that wants to get behind him. You know, with the Penn State-Iowa rivalry.
Here's your 149 finishers. Rutherford, Sorensen, Pantaleo, Surtsis, Soufflon, Dippery, Short, and Bircher. And only the 6 are automatic. The top 6, so Jake Short and Cody Bircher, are going to have to come in by the wild card selections. But the top 6 are the automatic qualifiers at 149.
Boy, he's already got a far side bar arm here with a half Nelson, and now you see the power of Martinez basically rolling through. You know, great job by Nolf following, all right? And that's the type of pace that Nolf, you know, that favors Nolf. He's willing to go ahead and quickly cover you, work back in the legs, and he's going to make Martinez work, and Martinez is going to try to explode back in. This is not necessarily the most technically sound way about going about it, but that's just what he does.
And the important thing is to keep moving here. Both wrestlers moving hard, and 1-point escape.
Worth all the effort to be able to get that quick escape.
That was a lot of work by Aymar there, because that was a great job. One move after the other. Nolf put on him, but Aymar comes out and is...
Yeah, and that's the way it's been called here. Aymar went straight out, Nolf went forward, and you'll see Mr. Perry back at the front table again.
I hate him for stalling for backing to the edge and staying there. You're right, they weren't out of bounds, but nothing was going on.
And with Illinois in 7th place with 82 points, he's just going to get his point across. And you can see referee Jeff Cook basically going to put the...
because your guy stayed on the edge and back to the edge.
You know, what happened there...
Are you wanting something challenged?
What happened there is that Martinez basically just stayed out there outside and never really did make a significant attempt to get back in. He started out, I guess that's coming back in, and then he kind of hung out there. And when you go straight out like that, that's called.
That's the way it's called.
Yeah.
That's the way it's called this year. It really is. A good replay there, and you just got to stay on it if you're Aymar. So the warning does not bring a point, but it is a warning. Next call for stalling will be 1 against Aymar. Right now, Martinez leads 1-0, 40 seconds left in the second period.
And you can see that Martinez, how many times is he's going ahead to use that lower back muscles, and that's what impressed me about him last year. He's able to go ahead and squat down and be able to attack, but he's got too much weight in his feet right now to be able to make that attack. Now he takes a straight-on space shot, working to get into an underhook, but it's kind of a one-and-done type of thing.
Short time in the second period. You're looking at Isaiah Martinez for Illinois, last year's Big Ten champion and NCAA champion.
There's a roll-through situation that Aymar had a difficult time with before, and it ended up with short time, but beautiful setup there by Nolf.
And no points there. 1-0 now going to the third period.
Green choice. Green bottom.
Take a look at the great work there with the escape, roll through,
Hey, sir, stay still.
following.
Set. Time.
You know, that's what championship wrestling is all about. Here's the explosive action by Aymar to finally get the escape. Now we're back to live action.
And a quick escape for Nolf. It's 1-1. There's no riding time. We're in the third period. Didn't get to the third period in that last match.
And will Nolf be able to get to the low ankle, right?
The underhook on the defense by Isaiah Martinez.
It's an advantage situation for Martinez. He's got a deep left underhook. That's where his comfort zone is right now. It's kind of it's been a pacifier for him. Now he's putting pressure on Nolf. How will Nolf respond?
Shots pretty even.
Inside trip, good footwork by Nolf. Good defense. See, Nolf wants to either cut the time, the referee's going to call a stalemate. That's a good call.
Stay still.
Jason Nolf, the redshirt freshman. He's undefeated. He's the #1 most dominant wrestler right now in the NCAA. And Aymar, last year's champion as a freshman, both as a Big Ten and the NCAAs.
Working hard with that underhook on the left-hand side, but you see how Nolf has wormed his head into the left ear of Martinez, and now he doesn't have it. Now, quick shot. He's not able to get below the knee, but he's able to come out the back door. How does he finish this? He's going to go ahead and keep his chest up. This is the, you've got to become expert in these face-to-shoelace situations. He's going to try to scoop the bottom leg, but he got dumped back to his rear.
And the stalemate on that tough crank on the ankle saves Isaiah Martinez. They'll go to their feet. 24 seconds left in regulation, 1-1.
And he's got Martinez
Let's go. Let's go. Set.
a little bit weary here, but still got a lot left in his tank, I believe, compared to the last time that these two wrestled.
Shots are about 3-3. There's a shot by Aymar, but hardly touches the knee. There's a shot in by Aymar, looking to be able to limp arm and try to come out.
He doesn't get.
He's got the ankle covered.
Yeah, and now he comes back. Nolf basically attacks below the knee. Now a spin around situation. Great job,
take
square.
Of the regulation, great action. Everybody expected this, and here we go into overtime. Sudden victory, minute on the clock.
Boy, for a 1-1 match, there's been a lot going on here. Now the double underhook situation for Martinez. Stuffs Nolf's head.
Center.
Nolf in and out. Total
Two
squad.
gladiators going at it. Little blood time there. Your intermat ranked #1 and #2 wrestlers in the nation.
This is a fortunate set of circumstances, I think, for Aymar. He looks like he's a little bit
woozy.
Yeah, he just hasn't looked like himself in this tournament, but you know,
Hustle in. Let's
he's been
go.
the champion, and he's been game
Let's go. Let's go.
for this moment.
Intermat rankings, #1, #2. Nolf #1, Martinez #2. They're in overtime, trying to see who will become the Big Ten champion at 157 pounds here in Iowa City.
Right there, one more effect with the double underhook. He tries to step in with an inside trip. Nolf has got his head off to the side a little bit, so Aymar has head position with that underhook. He usually likes to go with it. Nolf feels it coming. Stuffs the head.
10 seconds left in sudden victory. If it ends like this, we'll go to the 2:30 seconds for the third time. We'll have an overtime in this championships, and we are in overtime, and now we go to the 2:30-second tiebreakers.
Well, this is
Red.
looks over as Coach Mark
Red's
Perry.
gonna choose bottom
Aymar's
first.
going to go ahead and choose down. coach is asking him to pop up.
30 seconds and wrestle the entire
You know, they're
period.
both
to his feet.
Now they're both wary because they're just such great competitors, Jim. I mean, they're the good kind of wary.
Well, that was a start that Nolf was not prepared for.
I mean, and he was looking, I thought Aymar was looking a little wary, but as Nolf came on, he just looked tired. Well, why wouldn't you be when you're going at each other like this? Ram tough.
You've got to go ahead and find another level of conditioning to draw upon. Another blood timeout.
Something to do with riding time. Cody Sanderson wanting them to check the riding time. A 1 second.
Let's go.
Yep, he was out in 1 second. I think he might have been.
Yeah, no question about it. So
Aymar gives Nolf only 1 second to riding time, and it could come down to riding time.
again, Nolf has not been able to get below the knee like he was able to in the first match.
All right, Nolf goes down now. If Isaiah Martinez from Illinois can ride out Nolf, he'll win 1-0. If Nolf gets out, we'll wrestle the rest of the 30 seconds. And we might be going back to sudden victory. Here's Isaiah Martinez on top. Can he ride for 30 seconds and win? He's got the hands locked, and they go out of bounds.
You can see where Nolf is going to go with this. He's got to pop to his feet, hit that standing Granby, and get into a scramble situation with Martinez, and maybe even go ahead and get a reversal. But no movement off the whistle again for Nolf. He anticipates the move there. He's able to go ahead for the lock, and there's that standing Granby, but the problem is you go off the mat. You got to hit that a little bit quicker and inside the circle, the small circle.
Hey, sir, stay.
Mark Perry and Jeremy Hunter giving encouragement to their
Martinez is digging
NCAA.
deep here, Tim. He's really digging deep.
Wow. Escape by Nolf, who just dug deep himself. And so here we are, gonna go to 1 more minute on the clock. It was a crucial move by Nolf.
And see what he did there? He's able to get the stand up in the back pressure, and then he hit that standing Granby right in the small circle and got out.
Everybody getting their money's worth. There's not a seat in the house. It's a sold-out Carver Hawkeye. And we're in the second sudden victory period at 157 pounds.
And Martinez is able to burn a lot of clock in this situation in that front headlock. Good call in the stalemate in the front headlock. Does Nolf have enough penetration on a shot to get to that leg?
Isaiah's been in on about 3 more shots than Nolf. Is he able to come up the back door?
It's a good situation here, but Nolf is locked in the crotch. At the very least, he's got the advantage. Now Nolf has an opportunity to go ahead and pop his legs out. A lot of energy again being used by Martinez. 13 seconds. Yeah, now he's in a tough situation. He'll use the 3 leg to maybe kick free. No.
And they'll go to the second set of tiebreakers, and this is where riding time comes in. It would be to the advantage of Martinez here right now. 21 seconds of riding time for Isaiah Martinez. So the longer he rides here, the more opportunity he gives himself.
Yep. Nolf able to get right to his feet. Now the roll situation. Gets the escape.
If he can keep his
called
feet
it off.
It looks like he's got...
No, he called it off. He hasn't...
Oh, he called off the escape.
Yeah, he got
the 2. An escape and a takedown by Isaiah Martinez. And that's the call.
I thought for a second he called off the escape, all right?
Right.
And I thought for a second when he called off the escape, he was waving his arms across like there was no escape, and then he offered up a takedown. So let's see the position again. Standing Granby. Is there an escape here? Yes.
Yeah, there's an escape.
And there's a...
Got that far ankle, came through, and he's going to end up with the 2 here.
I give it to him. That's a good call.
Yeah, if that's what they called, it's a good call.
We mentioned Mentioned Martinez digging deep, Tim. Boy, he just looked like he was, he hasn't looked like himself this whole match, but again, take one more look at this. Here's the escape, all right? Take a look at the hands were broke right at that point in time. That's an escape. Martinez coming through with the underhook, driving through. He keeps that right toe on the mat, collects both legs, and that's two. That's two.
And that could be Isaiah Martinez's second Big Ten championship in as many years. Here are the NCAA qualifying allocations for all the conferences. The Big Ten with 71 spots. And you see the ACC up with 34. They've had a good year this year. The Big 12 has a few more because they've got 10 in the Big 12 tournament, which is going on right now. At this weight class, there's 7.
There's 330 qualifiers for the NCAA, so there'll be a number of at-large bids being offered up here this week.
4 or 5 at each weight class. We'll have the wild card. And Carver Hawkeye Arena, it's packed in here. It's been a tremendous competition. The people have been here all weekend long.
So he's not giving a takedown. He's just giving an escape for Nolf.
Wow.
Didn't see that.
Now that's I saw the escape and the takedown.
I saw an escape takedown. I'm with you, Tim.
Yep. Well, no, are they saying no takedown?
They're saying no takedown. Yes, let's look at it again, folks.
Wow.
We got some time.
On the right time, that's the way we're going to look at it.
It's clearly an escape.
And I don't know. Yeah, and so they're saying it's an escape, so I don't know how do you give.
Here's the escape, all right? Martinez broke his
So they
grip.
give the escape.
Now he works off the underhook, comes to the far ankle. And this is a takedown.
That's
when he stretches out right here like
that was a takedown.
Wow. Jeff Cook will be featured at the NCAA tournament here. One of the eight officials from this tournament that will also be at the NCAAs.
Red, your bottom. Red, your bottom.
As we finish out the rest of that
Okay,
sequence
so
there, we're going down.
Martinez needs an escape, and he'll win on riding time if it goes 1-1.
He's got to work hard. Now he's got a leg put in.
And he gets the escape. And so now, if it ends this way, it'll be Martinez. Nolf has to take him down or get a stall call.
Nolf really has to get on the offensive now. Remember, Martinez has been warned for stalling.
Right.
Working hard with that underhook, trying to keep him, and that's been the difference in this match, Tim, is that he's been able to stuff Nolf's head with that front headlock. It's bought him some time and actually helped wear out Nolf a little bit. Nolf gets into a scramble. Martinez keeps his head up.
And Martinez is the champion, the Big Ten champion in double overtime, 6 overtime periods.
Boy, Tim, he really dug deep.
He did. He did. And so Nolf gets his first defeat of his freshman year. And Isaiah Martinez gets his second Big Ten championship in as many years. This is how the Jordan boys got here.
Well, they've been dominant all the way to the finals. Both guys have been solid. Actually, Gino Morelli from Penn State placed a little bit further down the list here, was able to go ahead and go close with Bo Jordan here, but nice 10-2 win over Steven Rodriguez, who's had a good tournament as well.
Isaac Jordan won last year's Big Ten championship over his cousin Bo Jordan. You're looking at him right there. First cousins, Dad Jim and Jeff. Jim, the congressman, 2-time NCAA champion from at Wisconsin, now a U.S. congressman out of Ohio. Both Jordan's dad, Jeff, is the head coach at St. Paris Graham High School, the powerhouse high school that both these young men wrestled at. And so here they go for the 3rd time. Last year was the first time they met in the finals right here. This action right here in the Big Ten championships. Earlier this year in the dual meet, Isaac had his way again, 6-4 on the strength of 3 takedowns.
And Tim, Isaac is just the reason why I think he's been able to go ahead and get the wins in these 2 matches. He's just kept himself a little bit lower. You can see his left hand right there measuring his stance, and he'll make contact with his opponent and then kind of move up into him a little bit. But he's looking for that false step here from his cousin, and he's been able to attack and finish, and also has been pretty tough in the top position, and has got away from Bo Jordan, and not many people have been able to do that.
Center.
There it is again. Nice switch off to a double. Doesn't bring his hips to the party.
Shot by Isaac, fended off by Bo. Bo was 3rd last year in the NCAA. Isaac was 7th. He's been 7th 2 years in a row, 2-time All-American. Bo, as a redshirt freshman last year, finished 3rd in the NCAAs.
Center. Work to the center.
Isaac Jordan enters this match with a perfect 24-0 record. He's ranked number 2 in the nation, behind Oklahoma State's 2-time NCAA champion Alex Dieringer. Intermat rankings right there. Our partner in national rankings, Intermat, Andrew Hips and his staff do a tremendous job. They're BTN's partner in rankings, and every match we show you the Intermat national rankings going across the bottom. The numbers you see by Isaac and Bo's name are their seeds here at the Big Ten Championships, not their rankings. So Isaac Jordan, the top seed. Bo Jordan, the 2nd seed.
Not in the face, not in the face.
Stick it first. Stand, move that stick a little bit. Head lower than the ears. The head down there.
Isaac Jordan was able to go ahead and get in on that leg really easily, but that was kind of a just kind of off the right before they were going to go ahead and touch on the tie. A lot of anticipation, got on there quickly, but didn't really have anything left, any power left with his legs to be able to go ahead and finish it. It was in there clean. So, you know, the way the tempo of this match has gone, you'd have to say it's a good period for Bo Jordan.
By this time in the dual meet, Isaac had already had 2 takedowns, and he was able to cleanly get in on the leg and then lift, and you cannot sit with Bo Jordan. You have got to be able to lift immediately. That's what Isaac was able to do earlier this year, but as you just pointed out, they go 0-0 in the first period.
Red, all the choices. Red to first, back to you, Green. Green's down.
Tom Ryan, the head coach, NCAA champions last year. Barry Davis, the head coach for Wisconsin, both wrestled at the University of Iowa. Tom Ryan back in his old digs. 3 years as Terry Brand's roommate here, a 2-time All-American. Of course, Barry Davis, one of the best ever for Iowa, 3-time NCAA champion, 22 years at Wisconsin, now as a coach.
Nice mat return by Isaac Jordan. He's able to go ahead and stop, not necessarily the first move, but when he got to his feet, he was able to keep his hips tight. Good return. And I think that in a scoreless match, you got to try to put as much riding time as you can out there, right? You know that Bo Jordan can go ahead and put some time on the top, in the top position as well.
Good job with the hips and then the knee by Isaac Jordan, and able to flatten Bo back on his attempt there, and getting some more riding time. I mean, that's why they call it riding time. You called it, Jim. Every bit of time is important in a match like this.
Yeah, now you went for that cradle, but now he's got to hustle back around, and so much of that is just footwork and gliding, keeping your chest on the man, and keeping your core tight to be able to glide around your opponent. Now he's got that near leg hooked. Switch attempt there by Bo Jordan. Now another mat return.
15 seconds is really important, because you get up to about 125. That gives you enough time to get out and still have a minute riding time.
Exactly. Going to put you in the corner. Right.
So what a ride by Isaac Jordan right here. Very technically sound. There's Barry Davis.
See what Barry pushing his hands out there like that. He understands that. Okay, try to spread his base out a little bit, so he be tight on the waist, but also knock those legs of the table out. His 2 arms.
Every extra second of riding time counts right now. And Isaac Jordan, quite a ride so far, being able to keep. He just peeked out. He peeked out. He saw he had a minute 28, and I think he knew, I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish right here. Very technically and tactical approach here.
Yeah, that peak, though, probably, as you mentioned, probably cost him a little bit. You know, just stay in there with him. You got 30 seconds left. That was pretty critical. So,
action, gentlemen, action, contact.
Bo's the type of wrestler that can go ahead and ride you for a whole period and also put you on your back.
into the second period. So the ride by Isaac Jordan gives him more than a minute riding time, but Bo with the escape is up 1-0 on the score.
Yeah. No,
and here's your,
now you get a little difference between the
here's your 157 pounds. Martinez winning all the way down to Tyler Berger, who qualifies automatically. There's 7 that qualify automatically. TJ Rochelle from Wisconsin, right out of the money there. He's the younger brother of Kyle Rochelle, assistant head coach in the corner with Barry Davis, who wrestles with Isaac all the time.
No change in that battle for second place as Jake Ryan from Ohio State and also Edwin Cooper Jr. For Iowa were not able to get points.
Good scramble there. So right now, third period started neutral.
Yep.
And it's basically all tied up right now. So Isaac not even going underneath Bo, giving him the opportunity to be on top. Comes down to on your feet, and really Isaac Jordan is the one that has come closest to being able to solve this puzzle on their feet.
Well, you know, if you're in the Ohio State corner, this is exactly what you want to see. You want a tempo changer, and that shot is basically to set something else up or create more activity. So, you know, Bo Jordan, you know, obviously these two grew up wrestling each other and spending a lot of time at it, and you know, Isaac's pretty slick, but these guys are going to wrestle a lot, and maybe you learn something in this next 45 seconds that can help you win a lot of matches in the future.
The scoreboard says 1-0, Bo Jordan, but the riding time is in favor of Isaac Jordan, so if it ends like this, they'll go to overtime again. It'll be our 4th overtime, because 1 point will go on the board for Isaac Jordan for a minute or more riding time, which adds a point to your score at the end of a match.
Work through it. Work through it. Stay right there, Zane. Yes, coming in. Hey, throw your head down. Yep.
Back in on that shot again, and he's nice job by Bo getting back in. Now he's back into the shot to the other side.
He's got a lift completely.
Beautiful finish. Beautiful finish.
So with 2 seconds left in the match,
wow.
5 seconds, Isaac Jordan wins his 2nd Big Ten championship over his cousin with a last-second takedown to avoid going to overtime.
Look at misdirection there on that shot. He went one direction and then came back off of his knees and attacked the left leg. Let's take a look at the replay. Isaac going one side, hits back to the other side when he catches Bo on his knees, and look at this finish. Beautiful. Collects the bottom leg.
And here's one of their wrestlers now going up against another Illini, Nico or Brunson. How they got here?
Well, Nickal's been dominant here all season, and he's got Brunson here in the finals, a man that he was able to pin in the dual meet in a tight match. But Brunson's had a nice tournament as well here, coming in as the 3 seed, knocking off Alex Meyer with a crucial fall in that match, yeah. And then actually he had a technical fall in the first round and a 6-2 decision in the semis, so actually quarters. But he's you know, he's just like Isaiah Martinez in this situation. He's got a lot to prove from that dual meet. I mean, he was in the bout for a while, and then Nickal just basically, you know, kind of pinned him off the mat, and where the shoulders were off the mat. Boy, wow, just off
Beautiful
the underhook.
Technique, Bo Nickal gets the first takedown, 2-0. Nickal, 28-1, his only loss to Jackson. Nate Jackson of Indiana in a dual meet. He was upset, fell behind fast, and wasn't able to come back.
Nate Jackson wrestling for 3rd place.
Having a good tournament for Indiana.
Going against Miles Martin from Ohio State. Of course, Alex Meyer from Iowa is also wrestling against Nebraska's
Micah Barnes for 5th place, right? Bo Nickal for Penn State, #1 ranked at 174. He's a redshirt freshman. He's out in front of Zach Brunson. Brunson out of Oregon. Junior for Illinois. Been tough, been a starter for him for 2 years, but he has not gotten on the podium yet. The escape makes it 2-1. Minute 50 left in the first period. We're at 174 pounds.
And what the freshman Nickal has been able to do out there is really pretty amazing, because he's been able to go ahead, body lock, and throw a lot of guys. He's worked well off the double overhook situation, but then he's been able to go ahead and attack to the knee. So he really kind of hits you from head to toe with his attacks. Here's the double overhook situation. Fun to watch here.
Zach Brunson having none of it.
His straight left arm on that hip. He put that thumb inside of his hip. He wanted no part of that position. Whips over on the underhook, front trip, a little high, but he's able to settle back down to get the 2.
2 more points, and Jeremy Hunter is challenging. What do you think it was, Jim?
You know, I don't have a, I think he's complaining.
He was on his headgear, I think.
Jeremy Hunter is not the type of guy that leaps out of the chair. and
not
goes
at all.
Now, the other man in the corner, that's going to happen, okay?
I'd say whatever Jeremy says he saw, he probably saw.
Yeah, he's on that headgear.
He's on the headgear.
I mean,
that's a technical violation.
My man there would not,
he was on it.
He's going up against his alma mater. He saw something there. That,
they can't miss this one.
Yeah. So.
Well, you hope they can't.
He cupped over the top of the headgear pretty good to be able to give him the leverage to do that. I'm not, it wasn't certainly a collar tie. It was on the cup of the of the ear cup there. So, that guy's one of the most humble and straightforward guys you're ever going to see. If he's going to make a call like that, it's probably accurate.
Yeah. Now he's pulling down on that right there. He's
but I don't know. I can't really determine.
There he pulled it away from his head on that right there.
Yeah. Yeah, this could be a reversal.
It would be on your feet, 1 point technical.
And that's and officials know that there's certain guys that
March is here. We know that. And it means not just wrestling, but basketball. BTN will have opening round as well as quarterfinal action on 2016 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament. Live from Indianapolis. Great place to hold that tournament. Coverage of this can't-miss event starts Wednesday. Presented by Dodge on BTN and BTN to go. Now, somehow they should be able to do this faster. And so...
Here's the call. Here's the call.
They inconclusive evidence. I guess they didn't see what we saw.
Yeah, they're not working with our camera angle.
Not working with our camera.
Yeah, so I can give them the benefit of the doubt there, but clearly from our camera angle, you saw why Jeremy Hunter jumped up there. He's looking up to the sky.
They don't have our angles, and so we don't know what angles they have.
Nice work off that underhook there with Nickal. Just such great range that he has and feel for what he's trying to accomplish. There, jacks the guy up onto his toes and then drops in and drives forward. 44 seconds left in the first period, 3 takedowns.
Nickal's so sharp. He execute,
Yeah, you give a good guy like this, he's good with his positions, but, you allow him to grab the headgear, it's going to be even better.
And so that was quite a turnaround there, because it would have been...
Look at this. Wow. Gotta be careful. That's probably going to be called as a slam. Yeah.
What is it? It would be
illegal hold right there, and this might be... Yeah. You take a look. You don't see this too frequently in college wrestling. Brings his hips to the party and brings him down with force. But I think since he had that arm trap right there, they might have considered it kind of like drove him excessively. But
well, it's got to be a technical, or it can't be a potentially dangerous. It wouldn't.
No, I thought he called the illegal hold.
1 point. Yes, illegal hold, technical violation. 1. And so now 6-3.
He's going to come right back at this and take him back the other direction.
Nickal is powerful.
And the referee was a little late getting down there. Out of position there just a little bit on the second count. And now you're going to hear
away from him.
Here's another guy that you rarely hear from on the call. Cale Sanderson's going to call him off of that.
And they're going to ask him
choice.
So Casey Cunningham was up. He certainly thought there were back points there because the official didn't get down, as you said, very fast.
Yeah,
and only in his estimation got 1 count.
Well, he got faked out there. He went the other direction. His footwork was to the right, and the technique to get the best angle was to his left. So just Nickal cruising. He gives up the escape. It's only 6-4 now.
So with riding time, Nickal out in front's got almost 2 minutes of riding time, but you're right. I mean, it's 6-4, and it's the second period, 1.5 minutes left.
These guys have got to from about 4:30 to about 7 o'clock, and they've gone all the way around the mat, and I guess they break free from that position. They're back in off the underhook. Now body lock position for Nickal, and he'll throw this regardless of what the score is.
Yeah, and Brunson would go with most people, but right now he is not going to put himself in a precarious position against Bo Nickal, the freshman out of Allen, Texas, who's ranked #1.
And see right there, you know, you could make a pretty strong case for a stall call, particularly if you back up. When you block with the top of the head like that, and you guys got to
nice execution by Bo Nickal. 2 points, takedown.
Yeah, just living off that underhook and driving through.
Break down.
8-4, 30 seconds left in the second period. 4 takedowns for Bo Nickal. There's your order of finish for the 165 pounds. Only 6 are automatic qualifiers. So Anthony Perotti, the All-American from Rutgers and on up, are automatic qualifiers. The other 2 will have to come in at the wild card level. Escape for Brunson with 13 seconds left.
Keeping himself in the match.
One big throw away himself, but that's certainly easier said than done, but it's how Nate Jackson was able to beat Bo Nickal. I'm Tim Johnson along with Jim Gibbons. BTN Wrestling presented by Cliff Keen Athletic here at the University of Iowa in Carver Hawkeye Arena. Sold out the Big Ten Championships. Over 45,000 in these 2 days, paid attendance, and it's the most since 2005 when the Big Ten Championships were held here at Carver Hawkeye.
Brunson going to go ahead and try to put the leg in. This is when you become good at that position right there, getting your feet and reaching around and going with that double over it. Nobody wants to ride you. So if you can get to your feet, nice counter shot by Nickal.
Man, he's in tight on the hips there.
And he's thinking about back points right now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, most guys are thinking about going ahead and securing the takedown. He's thinking about how am I going to turn this guy from this position.
Improve, fellas.
Bo Nickal having about the most dominant performance in the finals so far. On his way to winning his first Big Ten championship of 11-5. He's got riding time that cannot be taken away. So effectively a 6-point lead with about a minute left. The redshirt freshman looking to become Penn State's second champion. They've had 4 entries. Megadullis lost in overtime to Tomasello. Gulibon lost at 141, and then Rutherford had a big win at 149.
I really like that trapped arm lift that he executed right there. Popped his hips in, but you know it was called a slam, but you can go ahead and control that so that you're running a guy forward as opposed to making it look like you're slamming him down at your feet. But he's got an array there because he can also set you back and do a tilt off of that with that trapped arm. So nice ankle pick. He makes you defend your whole body, not just right to left, but from head to toe.
6 takedowns, workmanlike. Clinic being put on.
Wow.
And getting back points because you can. His body's inside. He's looking for the fall, just like you said. Still looking because as long as he keeps nope, they're out of bounds. They went over the cylinder, 4 points.
And Tim, what he did that time there, he was able to hook the bottom leg on the way down, so it kind of it negated the kind of the slam look of that that technique.
Red set. Don't move. That's covered. Optional start. Optional cover.
Crowd quiet right now, but what an atmosphere it's been. Iowa always does a tremendous job.
There's a good job by Brunson getting the takedown. That's showing some fight.
I'll do 1,
3, 2, 1.
And it's the end, 2 points there, 17-9 with riding time, 18-9. Major decision by Bo Nickal, and he's your Big Ten champion. Only a freshman out of Allen, Texas. What a future for Penn State with these young guns. Thank you. I love it when the wrestler says trust the coaches. And Dudley and Brooks are in the final 184.
Well, the number 1 and number 2 seeds didn't make this weight class here. Dominic Abnader beat by TJ Dudley. He's having a fantastic tournament, and the homeboy Sammy Brooks made it to the finals for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and so this sets up a rematch where TJ Dudley was able to go ahead and get a first period fall against Brooks back in the duel in Lincoln. So tables turned here a little bit. Now in Carver Hawkeye Arena, Brooks has an opportunity to win a championship. Dudley, the All-American.
Shake hands,
Brooks
gentlemen.
has been off the stand
I'm
the last
ready.
2 years and looking to get on there his junior year.
Dudley, a South Carolina native, and Brooks, two-time Illinois state champion. For Mike Powell and the very powerful Oak Park River Forest team. As you said, Brooks is looking to avenge the loss to Dudley from earlier this season.
And that was basically right this position right here. See the tie-up of the wrist that that Brooks was able to go. You see, he got his right wrist free, but Dudley just has the super grip and knows how to use it. He's good with the tilts, and I really believe that he's the most improved wrestler I've seen year over year, and in this tournament.
Well, this is a great matchup. As we said, Dudley had a pin over Brooks in this year's duel, but last year's duel, or a couple of years ago, Brooks won in sudden victory. So make no mistake about it. This is going to be a tight one.
Excuse me, Tim, but what an impressive start that Sammy Brooks got going in the season in the Oklahoma State match.
Yeah.
Where he's able to go out there and attack that left leg of Dudley, and you know he can get his single leg off, and he's really good at finishing. His footwork is great. And he's got to get back to doing that. See him working off that underhook and drifting to the right. That's where he's at his best.
Well, you mentioned the beginning of the season, of course, the grapple on the gridiron, 42,287 in Kinnick Stadium. And Brooks had a 17-2 technical fall over Oklahoma State's Jordan Rogers,
Wow.
and that was the difference.
Yeah. Dudley going for it there with the lateral drop.
Work center, gentlemen. Work
Almost
center.
had it kind of loosened up at the end. So, you know, what that does right there, though, that it keeps Brooks from, you know, thinking twice about pushing in hard off those underhooks. So now he's back to working the wrist. And that's just another reason why I think he's improved so much is his game out there is well thought through. Now Brooks on the shot, but you see how Dudley with that grip was able to control the inside wrist. Hey, both these guys have the skills to go pretty deep in the tournament. And I say, you know, they're in the deep in the tournament right now, this tournament, but I'm talking the NCAA championships. Gabe Dean, the returning NCAA champion. Dominic Abinator, the Big Ten champion last year that was the number 2 seed. He
Wrestling
well.
for third right now, Abinator. Brooks started 13-0 this year before suffering his first loss of the season at the Midlands.
Wow, right there, snatch single. No points right there. Good job on the whizzer there by Dudley.
Boy, with that whizzer, he kept the momentum going because Brooks had him dead to right there.
Now he's picking up on that. See what the battle is here. The Brooks stuffed his own head there. He's trying to work off the head. Now he's allowed that to get straight up. Inside wrist tie, though. Watch this pop off.
There's 2 points for Sammy Brooks.
Right at the end, too.
Right at the end, rides him out. That's the way you like to do it. Nobody likes it better than their coaches, Tom Brands. There's Mark Manning. Wished it wouldn't have happened right when it did.
Well,
Tom Brands very excited about that execution by Sammy Brooks. You can't draw it up any better than that.
Did a nice job of getting his head up off the mat, finishing that technique. And like I said, his getting back to what we saw him in the first meet of the season. When he got onto that single leg, his footwork was good. He kind of got away from that a little bit. Caution on Dudley, probably.
Got that pause, guys. You got that pause. Go ahead and get set. Good focus. Set. Cover. Set.
Nope, that would be a caution probably on top. Sammy Brooks probably. So it's 1-1 on the cautions like we've talked before. You get 2 cautions before there's a penalty. So 2 freebies.
Set.
Started the second period, and Dudley out trying to make this a reversal instead of a escape, but he gets the escape. Wants to go back to his feet. 1 for Dudley, now it's 2-1.
He also cut the riding time there by releasing him like that. The riding time was working in favor of Brooks, so Brooks only got 8 seconds of riding time. And
Work center, down.
Dudley is a pretty darn good rider. He was able to ride out Abinator the whole third period in that match that he had in the semis, which really impressed me. And you know what Brooks is trying to do, and I think it's working pretty well. He's working off that tie right there. He's got the grip lock correctly here. He's got to get his feet moving. Doesn't quite get it going, but he's still in a good position to come up and finish. And watch him come here.
Nice job of catching the other far ankle and covering the hit for 2, then the escape for 1.
Quick escape, makes it 4-2. And the Iowa corner is really on their feet. They want Brooks to really keep the pace up. Another takedown for Brooks would get this Iowa crowd in gear.
And he slips in. Dudley comes back with a hip in and 2 points himself.
Now he's got a leg in, and what you don't want to do is do what Brooks has just done right here. I think he's given up the wrist, and now he's pretty good at giving a tilt in this position, and so that grip coming to play again. Now he's got the 2-on-1. He's pretty solid at tilting the guy up from this position. Brooks doing a great job of fighting out of that.
By Sammy Brooks there, hand control and getting out. 5-4, no riding time advantage. 15 seconds left in the second period. We've got ourselves a lot of action. There's
really
stalling on Brooks for pushing out.
Oh, wow.
Trying to come back in. Set.
He pushed him right into the Nebraska corner, and Mark Manning was waiting to help make the call. Oh, yeah,
those are the boys in white right there. Tom and Ryan Morningstar cannot believe the call just made by the officials there. Ryan Morningstar on the left. Tom Brand's in his 10th year. Tremendous job at Iowa. 3-time NCAA champion himself for a Hawkeye. He's a Hawkeye legend.
Certainly understand that frustration with that one. That's a tough call to take. I mean, Brooks has been on the offense with his leg attacks most of the match.
Again, and like you said, Dudley being good on top, but Brooks able to get out, and Dudley decides it's really going to be done on the feet.
Dudley looks a little tight. I mean, I saw him glancing over at the clock with 20 seconds left. Now he's a little bit like Aymar was in that match, kind of operating on fumes, but can he gather himself like the champion did?
Minute and a half left in regulation. Sammy Brooks out in front, 6-4.
And this is where Brooks, with all this time left, and the fact that you've been able to get out from underneath, go for that takedown. This is the closing takedown right now. You got plenty of time if you don't get it to get the quick escape to win the match.
Good point, Jim. And that's what the guys in the corner are wanting him to do. He just needs to find that angle again, as he's been doing.
If you don't do that, what you've done is allowed Dudley an opportunity to kind of, like I said, gather himself, look over the clock, and get that one shot to tie it up or create a flurry.
Nebraska trying to win their first championship of the day here. They've had a great tournament so far. This would put an exclamation mark if they could get a champion. Here's your place finishers at 174. There are 9 qualifiers, automatic qualifiers, all the way down to Nick Wanzek from Minnesota. They all qualify for the NCAAs at Madison Square Garden, March 17th to the 19th in New York City. 30 seconds left. Sammy Brooks out in front. Dudley in on the leg. He switches over to the other side and slips the arm, but nice hip job by Sammy Brooks.
He's got an opportunity to drive through, but he's only got 15 seconds left, and Brooks has done a great job, but now he gives up position. Does Dudley have enough in him to get the finish? He comes up to a double, and nice job by Brooks. Keeping his chest up, dropping the anvil in his rear end, and that's the match.
Great effort by both wrestlers, great hips at the end, and your champion, Sammy Brooks, gives the home crowd fans something to stand up and cheer for. They get their second championship, the Hawkeyes do, at Carver Hawkeye. Sammy Brooks, 184 pounds. I almost thought Shane was speechless there for a minute, Jim. McIntosh and Burak, 197. How'd they get here?
Yeah, two first period falls by McIntosh, 8-2 win over Studebaker, and a little tougher trip for third seed Nathan Burak here, but the big 3-1 win over Brett Farr to get to this point, avenging an early loss. So really a tremendous opportunity to go against one of the better wrestlers in the country at this weight class for some time, Morgan McIntosh.
McIntosh, what a solid performer he has been for Penn State in his career. And there's Nathan Burak, and this is his first opportunity to win a Big Ten championship. He's a senior out of Colorado Springs, McIntosh out of Calvary Chapel High School in California. And here they go. And obviously McIntosh has had his way several times with Burak, and the scores haven't been all that close, although 3-2, 3-1, but then 7-1, 6-3, 4-0 for McIntosh against Burak.
And Burak's fighting off a shot by McIntosh, and this is, he can keep enough weight on the head or in the shoulder area, and the referee calls a stalemate. So that may seem like a little thing there, but that's, McIntosh normally scores against Burak below the knee at that situation.
Burak comes in 23-1 in the Big Ten semifinals. He avenged his only loss of the season by beating Minnesota's Brett Farr 3-1 in sudden victory. Like I said, he's 0-4 against McIntosh in his college career. But he's got he's a two-time All-American. Burak finishing 7th and 8th. But McIntosh is undefeated. One of 4 undefeated wrestlers for the Nittany Lions coming into today. But now there are 3, with Nolf taking his first loss when Isaiah Martinez avenged his dual meet loss to Nolf, snapping his own 61 straight match streak.
Tim, I love the comments there by Isaiah Martinez. A lot of respect shown for Nolf and the season that he's having in his interview with Shane, and a lot of no sport really makes you reflect stronger or just harder than this sport does. And I think his comments are real revealing as to what he's been going through, and just what makes this sport great, and who can't really love what's happening with the career of Jason Nolf, and it's going to be a great battle if those two meet again in the NCAA finals.
McIntosh also a 2-time All-American, placing third last season, and there's 2 points for McIntosh. 1:10 left in the first period, and McIntosh strikes first.
He's been the guy in this weight class that has done the best job of attacking below the knee. Take a look at this shot, right? Look at his feet are, drops back in, ankle pick, and continues to drive, and keeps his chest low, but parallel to the mat and driving through, and keeps his head off the mat, wrinkle in the back of his neck, and attacks. So much of this is just lulling the guy to sleep and then exploding, making the best of your opportunity.
You're in control and out for 1.
And now for Burak, he's got to make it a battle. How do you do that? It's just so tough to try to tire out great college wrestlers in this day and era. Everybody knows how to train. Everybody knows how to, at this level, can go that 7 minutes, particularly when you're used to being a finalist, used to winning matches. Burak's got to make it a fight.
McIntosh drops down on the ankle again on the reshot, but is not able to get across immediately as he was on the last shot.
Tried to come out the back door, so this is 2 opportunities that McIntosh has had. Short time, 8 seconds left. And that's a win for Burak.
That's the end of the first period. It's 2-1 in favor of McIntosh. And here's your 184-pound order of finish and qualifier. 7 through Ryan Christensen. So whether Kenny Courts gets in or not, he was an All-American for Ohio State last year. Depends on the wild card selection later this week. Brooks, Dudley, Abinator, Ravina, McCutcheon, Kepke, and Christensen. And Courts, your top 8 at 184 pounds. And we're at 197 with only one match to go, and that match is a big one. The heavyweight match between the world champion and last year's NCAA runner-up. McIntosh has just been another motor this year, just a whole nother level of confidence, Jim.
Well, you know, you have a lot of guys clear out of that weight class. The national champion, Cobb Gadsden. You've got, you know, but there's still a guy at the University of Missouri that's pretty tough.
Absolutely,
NCAA
Jaden
champion
Cox
from a couple of years ago that will be the 1 or 2 seed. And if this match continues to go for in McIntosh's favor. But, you know, Burak is one of those guys that can, you know, we've also seen that with Brett Farr from Minnesota. I mean, there's 3 of the top 4 guys, I think top 5 guys are in this weight class. But, you know, Scott Schiller last year from Minnesota. You know, Kyle Snyder moves up to heavyweight. And so this is Morgan McIntosh's time.
2-2, a minute left in the second period. The escape by Burak, his second. So it was an early takedown by McIntosh. Went out front 2-0, then an escape. No points going into the second period. It was 2-1, and then the escape by Burak.
Burak really hasn't been able to get his offense off. He likes to attack the right leg. Morgan McIntosh got a nice high crotch, was able to hit that really well, head to the outside single against Farr. That was the winning shot for him in his 3-1 victory in the semis. Back in on the shot, good finish situation. Burak has cut the corner though well.
Very well, got a lot of space there.
Yeah, he's going to try to elevate the crotch. Again, short time. Are you recognizing a pattern here in attacks? Last 15 seconds, McIntosh goes all out for that attack.
So we go to the third period here at 197 pounds. It's 2-2. McIntosh will have his opportunity to go ahead, either with an escape or a reversal. Steve Burak, the father of Mr. Burak, here out here on the mat. Bonnie and Steve, proud parents of several wrestlers. It's a family of wrestlers. Brother Gabe wrestled at Northern Colorado and Penn, and brother Micah wrestled at Penn. So Colorado's Coronado High School has put out 3 outstanding Burak brothers. And Mom and Dad are quite proud. Mom and Dad, Bonnie and Steve.
You gotta go now.
See, Burak's looking for that shot. He's got it tied up, and you see that hard collar tie there. This really controlling tie that Burak is having a difficult time getting through. So look at that right hand inside collar tie. Now he comes to the wrist, but McIntosh will work that head. And Burak just does not feel comfortable enough to get his shot off. See the club right there? He's able to go ahead and hit him with a kind of a forearm right in the chest, or not actually the top of the shoulder when he was coming in.
53 seconds left in the regulation. And McIntosh out in front. With that escape, he's out in front 3-2. There's no riding time advantage, so Burak's going to have to score to win. Otherwise, McIntosh will have his Big Ten championship.
So I think there's enough respect for Burak's shot here. He's not been able to clear off of his left ear right there, that collar tie. See that right elbow? McIntosh drops that right elbow down when he's coming in. He's either got to go to another shot, clear through it.
Short time, 15 seconds left. McIntosh trying to win his second Big Ten championship last year. He beat Kyle Snyder And right now he's getting ready to, he can fend off the attack by Burak, and it looks like he's going to be successful. Morgan McIntosh, the Big Ten champion, second year in a row for Penn State.
Timmy knew that was going to be a tough battle between those two guys, but that...
Watch Morgan McIntosh path, and the path for Coon and Snyder right here, Jim.
Well, the reason Snyder's not seeded #1 is he hasn't had as many matches, hasn't had enough matches to be seeded, so Coon gets the #1 seed. Kyle Snyder's been putting up over 20 points a match in his college matches since he's come back.
See that aerospace engineering major for Adam Coon. He'd like to be an astronaut someday. Kyle Snyder, who's undecided, from Maryland, who's undefeated in high school and spent a year at the Olympic Training Center just working to become better, and it worked for him pretty well. USA Wrestling's proud of Kyle Snyder, the youngest world champion ever for USA. And Jim, you had an opportunity to call that match, and he was very impressive.
Oh, he really was. It just is this is what he did a lot. He's able to get in that attack below the knee. All right, and Adam Coon, you shouldn't feel bad because he was doing it against the best in the world. So, and this is what he's been doing since he's come back. He's just been on the offense the whole time, and it's been all takedowns. It doesn't worry too much about turning guys, and for the most part. But Adam Coon is, I mean, I've been impressed with his improvement as well. I mean, this is not indicative of how, where he's come from here, particularly in his first year where he was '1 seed. But I think he's a much better wrestler. And, I go back to last year in the semifinals and that 40-second scramble he had with Mike McMullen from Northwestern, and it was fun to watch. I mean, he could do well in these situations, but, Snyder, right?
There,
like I said,
I'll tell you what, look at Snyder coming up. Wow.
Yeah, he's battling here, but you do that enough times, you're going to, you make the world champion work.
That's a good job of Coon with getting his weight on Snyder at the strategic time.
Yeah, and he can battle these low shots. Like I said, that was probably one of the better scrambles I saw last year at the tournament. Was what you called last year at the semifinals, Tim. It was just great
one
wrestling.
of the best ever. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Two big guys just going at it,
And Adam Coon came up short against Gwizdowski in the final 7-6. Nick Gwizdowski, the two-time NCAA champion out of North Carolina State. Of course, the #1 seed, or #1 ranked wrestler in international rankings.
And so the interesting thing about this bout is okay, you got the lead, and are you going to come back at it? And so that's the third shot. It didn't look as good as the second, which didn't look as good as the first.
Coon enters this match 18-1. His only loss this season came to Virginia Tech's Ty Waltz, and that was just a couple of weeks ago at the NWCA National Duels. It's a close match with Krells from Minnesota in the semifinals.
Yeah, I certainly think Krells has improved, since we saw him earlier in the season. Sam Stoll from Iowa looks like he's going to default out of the tournament.
He went for 7th and 8th.
Takedown. Yeah. Oh, no. But he's got the leg.
Can Coon finish this? The leg up.
He's got the right grip, how it's tied, but you just don't want to go off the mat. You don't get many opportunities against the world champ to get his leg up in the air like that. But he's got him working. And you know what I'm looking for here right now is that swing single to the back leg right there when Coon steps up, and you probably won't see it with short time left, but you don't win a world championship without being able to attack both sides.
Talk about Kyle Snyder's success in world competition, only 19 years old, winning a freestyle world championship last summer in Las Vegas. But Adam Coon has had a lot of success in international styles of both freestyle and Greco, and he's actually a hopeful in Greco-Roman.
No question about it. Yeah. So you have to believe that the camps and all that, these guys being the same age, that they've sparred quite a bit.
Joe McFarland, longtime coach at his alma mater, one of the greats at Michigan, 4-time All-American, and also a world silver medalist himself. And Tom Ryan, the head coach at Ohio State, last year's NCAA champions.
The Silver Fox, Joe McFarland. Fun guys in the sport.
Think about left underhook. Think about left.
working hard with that underhook there. And this is a match situation, I think, where Coon is gaining confidence. He's going to try to make the champ work hard. Nice high crotch set up there. This will be tough for Coon to stay out of it. He dumps him back down.
Nice execution of lowering the level and dumping Coon for the 2 points. Just a textbook there. Kyle Snyder goes out 4-2. Good look at Adam. Coon.
And that's a situation where he probably would have got away with that big step in, but when you can't make too big a step into your opponent here, because somebody like Kyle Snyder is immediately going to drop in on a shot.
Four to 3. That takedown by Snyder. A couple of takedowns sweetly executed. A minute left in the second period. We're at heavyweight.
But I liked where Coon was going in that match. Before he gave up the takedown, he was really working hard and maybe working for a body lock. He's got a good one, and that's where a lot of his falls come from. Is digs that right-handed underhook, and then right here where he goes there. But Snyder, blocks that off pretty well. Not giving it to him. There's the fake shot. Come back around.
Ohio State trying to do bookend champions. Nathan.
See where Adam Coon is. You see why people are high on him at the next level as well. He just moves very solidly, and 4-3 score. He's given up 2 takedowns, but he's fought off about 3 pretty good shots.
Time ticking down. The end of this second period.
Let's take a look at the replay of that second takedown there. You see him come down on the head, inside bicep tie, drops in, gets a nice corner, and then takes him towards the leg that's up, right? Circle towards that leg that you have picked up.
To where he doesn't have a leg to stand on, right?
Correct.
That's a great execution by Kyle Snyder. There's your 197 finishers. McIntosh, Burak, Farr, and Studebaker and Huntley and Rymack. The top 6 are the automatics. 7 and 8 will have to get a wild card, but there's your finishers at 197. You talked about working hard, Jim, and there is a group of people that work hard to make our job easy, gives us the resources and these great pictures and the production and the direction, and we just want to thank them right now. Our producer, Catherine Lezick, our director, Jeff Clark, technical managers, Matt, John, Barry, Pavesi, and Steve Zimmerman. Technical director, Alex Bippus, and it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Alex. Senior coordinating producer, special thanks to our big boss, Bob Lanning, and the senior vice president of production and executive producer, Mark Halsey, and the president of the Big Ten Network, Mark Silverman. And we just want to give a great thank you to all of the men and women that make up this outstanding BTN crew.
In particular, our retiring executive producer there, Mr. Bob Lanning. Done a wonderful job with Big Ten Network Wrestling for the years, and we just want to thank him for everything he's done for wrestling. Low shot there by Snyder. Again, it's fought out pretty well. This is how you do it. You kind of can't stay bent over at the waist. You got to stay up, and that's a nice job of Snyder staying with it because it was well fought by Coon.
Right here, we talk about the 4 points that would be added on to Ohio State. It'll bring them 1 point short of Iowa for second place. So right now, unless Kyle Snyder can do something extra, it'll pull Ohio State into 1 point behind Iowa. What a familiar sight. Last year, they were 120 and 120, right together as co-champions. This year, they score more than they did last year as the co-champions. But trailing Penn State, who wins their 5th out of 6 years with 150-plus points.
Well, Cory Clark and Sammy Brooks.
Big wins for the Hawkeyes there.
Match Nathan Tomasello and this man, Kyle Snyder.
Seven 7-4, no riding time. The world champion, now for the first time, is a Big Ten champion. He's been looking for this last year, a runner-up to Morgan McIntosh at 197. He was a runner-up at the NCAAs to Kyvan Gadsden from Iowa State, but now he's not only a world champion, but he's a Big Ten champion. That's Kyle Snyder, and he's undefeated.